right, what is up, everybody? You guys are tuned in to Spirit 105.1 FM, 1390 AM. I am Chris Huff of the Chris Huff Show, and today we've probably got, they said Tom Joyner was the hardest working person in radio, but I feel like now, lovely Big O, Miss Oneshia Eden has taken over that title. I was just telling her she's on Jamal Bates' morning show, nationally syndicated from 6 to 10. She got the lovely Big O show on 963 The Block from 10 to 3. She probably got the Quiet Storm somewhere we don't know about. She probably broadcasted in Africa on late nights or somewhere like that. So listen,
Are
she's
you
all over the place.
screaming?
Listen, I'm surprised you don't own your own radio station by now.
Listen, if I could, I would, but there's not enough hours in the day for me to do all that, of course.
Yes. Um, so yeah, I really appreciate you. Like I said, she's got a busy schedule, and when I reached out to her, it wasn't even a hesitation. Um, I think comedian Akintunde, he was my first guest a couple weeks ago, and he was the same way. Like it wasn't even a
Yeah,
hesitation, and took time out of his schedule. So I appreciate people that look out for somebody like me that's trying to come up the ranks and make a name for themselves in this little world we're
of
in.
course.
So, so I'm sure everybody has probably heard your name, but where did the name Lovely Big O come from? Like, where did it come from and how did it stick with you?
So, a friend of mine by the name of Shantae Stewart actually gave me that name a long time ago. I wasn't comedy or radio was not even something I thought about. And she just came up with the name Big O. She was like, because every time you come around, you always have this big personality. You always have a big smile on your face. And so the name stuck with me. And so when I added Lovely Big O to it,
Right.
as my stage name, I let people know it's because I serve a great big God. Not because I'm full figured, big woman. I serve a good big God. And so
Yes.
there's nothing impossible when you serve him.
Oh, right. Absolutely. It's crazy how the world works too. I shared with you a flyer on Instagram from, I think it was 2013, where we were both
Mhm.
performing at a church, and this is back when I was still doing Christian hip hop, and I was a Christian hip hop artist, and you were a comedian. I think I remember watching you, and I was like, man, I had never heard of you. Not saying that to be disrespectful, but I think you were I don't know if you were just coming out at that time or
Mhm.
when did you get started?
I actually started comedy with Saint Vic. He put me on his first comedy show. I want to say back in 2000. It was either 2005 is when I first started with him. It was at the Bride of Christ. I did my first initial 10 minutes.
Okay.
So when I did my 2005, 2013, I was literally just uh, coming into my own, is what I tell people, from 2012 all the way up to like 2017. I was finding my footing, really getting comfortable in it. So I really was, trying to get myself out there.
Okay. So how would you describe what you do? Would you say it's more of a comedy with a message or ministry with a mic or maybe a little something different or a mix of the two, or how would you describe it
I
exactly?
would say it's just all of it. I mean, of course,
Yeah,
my motto is we're gonna laugh until the pain is gone. There's so much that we could
right.
be sad about, but sometimes you have to flip it and you have to laugh at certain circumstances. You laugh at your family members raising these cheer ends. That's
Right.
enough to get you laughed about dating. So I utilize all of that. Being a single mom, raising a son, that was something that I had to turn to as a coping mechanism was my laughter.
Right. Um,
Yeah.
you bring up laughing till the pain is gone. I was talking to somebody recently and I was like, whenever you see me on stage telling jokes, like for me, I think I heard Marlon Wayans say this in an interview recently. I think it's kind of like therapy for me. Like if I'm on stage, I'm talking about stuff that's real
Yeah.
life hitting me, but it's a way of me easing the pain. Like it makes it disappear for a little bit.
Right.
Would you say that's kind of how you
Yeah.
feel?
Of
Yeah.
course, especially if I've had a stressful week at work or at home, hitting the stage and letting it out and watching other people just laugh and they're relatable. Being
Right.
relatable, I think, is key of being a great comedian. Because how else can you, show who you are by, showing that you're relatable? I go through the same thing you go through. I have a different way of coping with it.
Right. No, absolutely. how would you say that, when would you say you first realized that you could make people laugh and change lives while doing it?
You know what? Everyone has always told me that. Even during
Hmm.
high school, I was the class clown. But that's something I've always done. It's just been naturally. I don't have to work at being funny. That's something it's just natural, honey. I just
Right.
have my own way of looking at, things of the world and, putting my own spin on it. So I told my mama, I said, girl, you birthed me being crazy, didn't you?
Oh my goodness. Um,
Yeah.
that's hilarious. How would you say you get to where the level that you're at, like being, I'd say you're nationally recognized, you got, the Greenville market on lock on the block. How would you say you get to where you're at? You were mentioning, I think you're gonna be in Costa Rica doing some stuff coming up. You're all over the place. So
Yeah.
how would you say you got to where you
I
are?
I'm really gonna be honest with you. It's but God.
Right.
I can't say I've been out here and it's been, oh, I've networked with such and such, I've done this. It's just been some but God moments. I
Yeah.
honestly can say that. And just remaining humble and being sincere,
Right.
being grateful for a lot of the things that people do. Um, and I'm never a person that feel like I'm just, oh, because when people say, oh, you're a local celebrity child, listen, I ain't none of that. I'm
Right.
just here trying to see what the end gonna be. I'm running for
Right.
my life like everybody else,
Yeah.
scratching and surviving. That's me.
Oh,
That's
goodness.
me.
Yeah.
So I do look at it as my purpose. I am doing what God has called me to do. He called me to be the joy of the Lord. So that's my
Right.
purpose. And so, some people leave this earth not knowing what their purpose was. And I'm just grateful to God that I know what mine is.
Yeah. I feel like Martin talking to Varnell Hill. How do I get to the yams? How do you
Right, right. How did I get to the
Lake
yeah?
Varnell catfish delicious?
Yes, great delicious.
Oh goodness. How would you say your faith and comedy probably collided? Like how did you because I was it's I don't think people understand how difficult, I guess you could say difficult it is to be a clean Christian comedian because anybody can get up on
But
stage
I
and yell
just I
vulgarity.
Yeah, I just had this conversation with I think his name is just Jeff. We were at the DMV together. He
You
looked at
know,
me.
I know
He
him.
said, "You're a comedian." I was like, "Yeah, yeah." It was like, he was say, mention, for me, we don't get enough recognitions uh, to be clean Christian comedians. And it's unfortunate. I think we have to fight 15 times thousand quadrillion times harder to get where we want to be.
Mhm.
It's a because the world likes
Right,
vulgar, they like scandal. And then when you get us, we're like, we don't have that, we don't exude that, but we go through things, we just have a different way of saying it. So
right,
I just believe, God is doing his big one with me still. And when the time is right, he'll make a way for it to be, out there. But
right,
for me, I don't look for the fame and the glory out of it. I think the biggest thing for me is, am I really changing lives?
right,
And it could be here in Greenville. I've heard, you just don't even know the stories I heard. If you go to New York, you can make it. If you go to Atlanta, you can make it. If you go back to California, you can make it. Well, who said I'm not making it here?
right.
Just because the make it to you is what? Being in the Essence magazine?
Hmm.
Not necessary. You
Yeah.
don't know what life you change here in your own hometown. What difference are you making here? Because if you can't make it and change it here, who's
Hmm.
to say that you can go out there and change it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Some can. I've seen it happen, but I'm not one that's big on it. I don't look at other people's lives and like, dang, I wish that was me. I've never been that way.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up Jeff because that's one of my closest friends. Me and him talk probably every week. He'll try to get me out to the Comedy Zone and stuff, and I'm like, man, I got to come see the audience
Yeah,
first. I need to come sit because my kind of comedy is probably not what they're used to. So I don't want to get out there. I'm not gonna put myself in a
yeah,
position to look crazy and get bombed because everybody else is doing other stuff. I need to make sure that's gonna fit. So shout out to Jeff. I know he listens to
right,
the
right.
show and stuff. So it's crazy you brought him up.
Yeah, yeah, real good guy.
Yeah. Have you ever had to hold back on stage or on air? Or let me put it this way. Has there ever been a something you want to say or a joke where you're maybe like, "Ooh, this might be a little bit too far. I don't know if the Saints gonna like this one. It's not over the edge, but you're tiptoeing on it."
Um, I don't think I've done. I've had the mistake. I done had a slip up in church where I said a cuss word to a child. Okay, and I ain't gonna lie, that was back in 2007. I'll never forget it. Changed my life totally. I thought I was never gonna do comedy again where I said a cuss word, and the child had
Mhm.
got on my nerves, and I ended up saying a cuss word. And then it took my pastor at the time,
Mhm.
Apostle Ron, because I was at Redemption. To
Okay.
come, he brought me on stage in front of everybody, and he was like,
Yeah.
we all have made mistakes and we're not going to condemn her for it. We know who she is.
Right.
And so that really kind of put things in perspective of me wanting to still be who I was and not go, uh, you know, go to, using bad words. People don't realize that well, some people did. The video went viral with Ricky
Mhm.
Smiley talking to me in the backstage, and he was like, "You got it, like you are so good, but if you would say this,
Mhm.
you would be far." And I was like, "In that the case, brother, I ain't gonna be far then, because
Right.
I'm not saying that.
Right.
I'm not changing who I am." So
Mhm.
I've never had a moment to where anything is risky. I think for me is the way I say it makes it relatable. Again, I talk about being a single mom. I talk about being the fat girl in the room. I talk about being single. I talk about dating. I talk about my mom. I talk about being raised in a liquor house.
Yeah.
That's It's relatable. And just
Yeah.
because you're saved don't mean you don't go through nothing.
Oh no. It says it said it won't prosper. It don't say it won't
Right.
fail. It says it won't
Right.
prosper. And
Right.
shout out to Pastor Ron and Hope. I was on staff at Redemption for a little bit in the kids ministry.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I know people have a lot to say about them, but seeing them up close and personal and knowing them, they're probably two of the most genuine people that I've
Listen,
came across. Like the most
I
kind,
just
caring.
finished I just finished telling another person that I said that man put
Hmm.
me where I'm at today. He
Right.
spoke a word in the old sanctuary that I will never forget, that I carry it with me. He said, "We all play a part in the body of Christ." And he looked at me that day backstage after I got off the choir. He said, "You are the joy of the Lord. That is the part that you play in the body of Christ."
Right.
And that shifted because I was the choir director. I was directing the choir there for many moons of Sundays.
Right.
And he shifted that thing. And I was like, okay. So that was what really got me to the place that's really believing what he said. And that's how I knew who I was.
Right.
So I know that that's what keeps me grounded.
Um, yeah, it's funny how we keep bringing up people that we know that we hadn't even talked about beforehand. What's a moment where you feel like you know your comedy truly touched somebody, whether it be a DM after a show or an email or somebody stopping you? I know you just talked about Pastor Ron speaking that over you. What's maybe another
Um,
moment that you realize you're doing something with a purpose?
I was at an event with my sister Nisa and a lady. It was a church event in Spartanburg, but it was at the Piedmont Club. It was an older lady, and she normally I try to get out the way because
Right.
I know people get really excited about me being there, so they want to take pictures and videos. But for me, I don't like to do that, especially when it's a church function, because I don't want to take away from what the church's got going on. So I
Right.
normally try to do whatever they need me to do, and I move out the way. But she grabbed the older lady kind of like tugged on my sister, and I had already left out. And she was like, "Please, can you get her?" So I was like, my sister was like, "You gotta go back in here." I was like, "Girl, no, that man is up there talking. I ain't going back in there." She was like, "That lady may not make it through the night. You gotta go
Oh,
back in there." I was like, "Girl." So we go back in there, and the lady, she was like, "I have not laughed in years." She
Right.
said, but you have turned this whole thing around for me that I can truly honestly say thank you because you brought so much laughter to my heart. And she was a elderly lady, and that just did something for me. That
Yeah.
was just it was just like, wow, to hear that me I
Right.
know I'm doing something right.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
moments like that that make you want to keep going. Um,
Yeah.
so I just started my radio show the first Friday in May, and I prepared, and I thought I had a whole bunch of stuff prepared. We got to like 20 minutes left, and I'm looking at Miss Jeannie, who's the station owner here, and I was like, well, I need to get on my phone and put up some scripture or something because I don't feel everything. I thought I had 3 hours. I thought I was over prepared. I'm sitting here, like, I'm like, and then I'm trying to give away stuff, and like people are new to the show, so I'm like, hey, be the fifth caller. And I'm sitting there looking for the phone to ring. I'm like, okay, maybe, maybe ain't nobody listening. And then we get a phone call. I kid you not. And I'm like, Spirit Radio, who is this? And the voice is like, it's your son. And I was like, ain't no way this joke.
What?
I was like, ain't no way this joker don't call. So I hung up the phone. Oh, I promise you. A minute later, I should have looked at the number. He called right back. I'm sitting there like, ain't nobody
Oh,
gonna be listening to this show. They think my son. I said, he the only one listening. And then Mary, I'll never forget her. She was my first calling winner. Mary from Anderson called, and I was like, oh, thank God somebody listened to the show. I was like,
I love it.
my
I
son.
love that.
Yeah, it was heartwarming. I was like, ain't no way he did this on my first day trying to call the show and win he was trying to win a
And,
gift card.
and good. I love it. He was like, he proud. That's a proud
Yes.
moment. I love
Um,
it.
at least my kids will be able to say that, their dad is, pretty
Yeah.
proud of me or something. So what's maybe an unexpected moment that's happened for you in radio or on stage or something where you just had to go like off script at like the last second?
When I was invited to do a youth conference, and it
Mhm.
was really for senior citizens. Baby, listen, where am I? Honey, click my heels 3 times. Send me home, honey. What is we doing? Baby, listen. When they say the church youth is gone, the church youth was gone.
Because I'm telling you, it's two different sets of content you got to bring for senior citizens.
Yeah, yeah, Lord. Yeah, Lord. And I had the I had been in the mirror talking about what I'm doing for the youth. I had so you think you can dance, big girl style. Baby, listen. I got in there and there was a room full of senior citizens. My God, today and tomorrow, they weren't gonna know not nail song I was about to
Right.
play.
Oh my gosh.
So
You could
yeah,
have asked them
that
old
happened.
folks. Did anybody meet Moses? Anybody
Yeah, it was on and popping, baby. I had to go back to the liquor house, talk about
so
food,
who so
talk
who
about
what
stuff. Yeah, talk about stuff they knew stuff about back in the day, honey, with Junebug and them. I had to
so
get
who
back down there with the greasy corner. Yeah,
I'd have been
yeah,
checking my GPS like I know good and well. Or whoever set me up with the show. We need to talk.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
y'all left some
yeah.
stuff out.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was like two little youth in there. They had a whole youth program, baby. All right, we here for it. So, baby, I just did the best I could, and they said, "Oh, you did so amazing," and has had me back several times. And I was like,
oh
"Okay,
goodness. Um
all right."
that's hilarious. You talk about being a single mom. And I want to pronounce your son's name wrong, so I'm gonna let you do it. But I see you post about him all the time. He's going in so many videos and all this stuff. So tell us about your son and some of the stuff he's got going on.
So his name is Jakevis,
Yes.
Jakevis Thomason. He is just the joy, the light of my
I can
world.
I can tell just by watching videos of him that he just got a light about him and
Listen,
um
when I tell you, I tell him all the time, when God gave me you, he gave me a blessing. He has been the inspiration,
mhm.
the motivation that I've needed to keep going. And he is that still today. I'm going through a season right now in my life, and I've literally have had him to depend on,
Mhm.
and it's been life changing.
Right.
This 2025 has been a life changing year, and when it is time, God is going to allow me to share it. But it has been something I've never experienced before. for, and to
Mhm.
have him and the wisdom that
Right.
comes from him to say, Mom, you got this, has been great. But he is a professional dancer, a professional choreographer out in LA. So he lives in LA. He
Right.
kind of broke my heart with that.
I can't
Like,
imagine.
oh God. When he called me, I think it wasn't last Easter, it was Easter of 2023. He was like, look, and I was like, well, what is that? He was like, my license. I said, why you got that license? What we doing
Hmm.
with that? He said, it's my LA license. I said, why would you do that? He said, because this is my permanent home. I said, to who? Now I sent you off there to go to school.
Right.
I didn't get you out there. Now you staying? He was like, Mom, I'm from LA now. No, you're not. No, you're
Right.
not. You from here. But I knew that was the best thing for him. I knew early on there was something different. And I just was like, I'm not gonna stop you. And the thing that I always tell people, don't try to hold your kids here in South Carolina because they
Mhm.
can give you lottery money.
Right.
These schools, when your children are talented and they are gifted and they are smart,
Mhm.
it's schools all over that
Right.
will come and get your child. Jaquelis got to the University of Southern California off a dance scholarship and an education scholarship.
Wow.
Was it some money that we had to pay out? Of course, but
Right.
he 4.3 GPA is what he had the whole time he was in high school and carried
Mhm.
that sucker out all the way through college.
Wow.
So you he tells me that I helped get him there, but I'm gonna be honest with you, Chris. He is a child that was self-motivated. I tell people the story all the time. When he started his freshman year, he had sticky notes on the wall of a goal of what he was going to complete by the 12th grade year. And when he got to his senior year, he had one sticky note left, and that was applied to different colleges and schools that would allow him to do a business degree and also his dance degree. That's something that he did.
Wow.
Self motivated, self driven, and he keeps me that way.
Yeah.
So he's doing what he loves. And I told him, I said, you are living out your dream.
Right.
Like you manifest that you would be on stage with Beyonce one day. I
Mhm.
said, child, you went in the room and you choreographed a dance for her. You've
Wow.
been on tour, several tours all across this country. I
Right.
said, who goes to school and get to use their degree?
Right.
No one does. Uh-oh, hold
No,
on, Chris.
no, you're good.
Okay, I didn't know if you
No, you're
um
good.
and that's so funny because that's him calling.
His
It's so
ears
funny.
must have been burning.
It must have been. Must
Um,
have been.
so speaking of your son, does anybody, your son or anybody in your family say, please don't tell this joke or get embarrassed about something that you might tell about them
No,
on stage?
everybody know, Chris, what goes on over here likely to be out there. If he's in here, it's going out there.
Right.
Everybody know. If you say it to me,
Mhm.
likely it's gonna be on the radio. Likely it's gonna be on the stage. It's just they
Right.
already know. Ain't no disclaimers. You ain't getting no change for it. You ain't getting no coins for it. There's not a
Right.
check. None of that. No,
Yeah.
they know. Yeah.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, y'all better not mess with me because I'll put a note in my because I got ADHD so bad. Like if I think of something funny happens, I gotta put it in my notes in my phone, and I got because I'll forget
Oh
about
yeah,
it
that's
later.
me. You should see. Yeah, it's me right now. Maybe everything is on my calendar, and that come with age. That ain't got ain't nothing ADHD. Honey, when you get
Yeah.
older, honey, everything go on a calendar, a notepad. Child, I'm writing out. Make sure to get deodorant. On there, honey. Make sure that you wash your drawers. Today is
Yeah.
a drawers washing day. Make sure that you got a clean bra in the car, so before you go to the next event, change your bra and put deodorant on. Baby, everything is on the calendar. My assistant knows where I'm at every given moment because she be like,
Yeah.
it's on the calendar. She ain't got to
Right.
look for me. She ain't got
Oh
to
my
look.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it don't, I tell people if you don't write it down, you don't text it to me, it don't happen. Because they be like, I
Mm-mm.
told you. I'm like, no, you didn't. Email
Yeah.
it, text it, something, because I'll forget. Um,
Right.
what's one thing that your audience will be surprised to know about you?
I think a lot of people don't know that I am truly an introvert. I am a homebody. I don't like outside.
Right.
Yeah. So I think people be like, "Oh, you're always so happy. You always blah blah." I'm like, girl, if you only knew. I like my home. I If I could stay
Yeah.
here forever, it would be here because
People,
I'm a loner. I
yeah,
think people feel because I'm a comedian, I'm always out, that I have like all these friends. And I have a circle, that
mhm,
keeps me close, but I'm really a loner. I go out to dinner by myself.
yeah,
I tell people all the time I'm single with a vision.
right,
Um, and if you're not walking in that vision with me, or if you are getting ready to embark on what I want, baby, you'll be left beside on the outside because I
yeah,
I ain't got no time. And then I have ADHD too, and
mhm,
my attention span is on zero. It's
right.
on zero. Yeah,
No,
you got
it's
to keep
funny.
it.
It's funny you mentioned being an introvert because people get shocked because I'm so outgoing. I'm trying to make people laugh. Like I don't go in comedy clubs or stages. What I'll do is I'll write notes in my phone and I'll be sitting there just randomly in conversation and throw out the joke that I was working on
Hmm.
and see how people react.
Hmm.
That's my comedy club. That's how I work on material. I gotta see
Yeah,
how
I
you
don't even do that.
react.
So you could, like that's the difference with a lot of people. Like they be like, "Oh, how you work on your stuff, child?" I don't. It's just
Right.
life. I
Yeah.
get on stage and say some stuff. I have topics that come to mind, like especially if they invite me to come and do something at school. I try to make sure I do topics like that. But child, I ain't writing. Baby, if you want me to come to your church or you want me to come and do your event, baby, it's probably gonna be somebody in your audience that I'm gonna talk about. Because you probably don't say at this good table. I always tell people when they invite me, they think I come and just be wanting to be in a room. No, don't put me in no room. Put me out there with them so I can see what
Right.
they doing. I need to see, and I utilize that. I like to be in the audience with people. I love intimate settings with
Mhm.
people to get to know me. But yeah, I am truly though. If something they need to know about me, I like to be. I'm a loner. My mama called me. What did she call me? She said, "You suffer in silence." She said, "No one
Hmm.
will never know what you're going through because you suffer in silence." And that's true.
That's
That's
me.
true.
I think Robin Williams had said at one point about putting on a mask. And
Yeah.
people get upset with me sometimes because I'm like, don't invite me to no party because I'll be sitting in the corner on my phone by myself, ready to go home. Like
Yeah.
I can be on the radio making people laugh or be on stage or whatever it is. But when I get around a big group of people, I'm ready to go. I don't feel
Yeah.
comfortable. Just get me out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a crowd person either. I mean, I'm grateful for the fans and all of that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
How would you say you stay grounded when you're always giving out to people?
Oh, God, 100%.
Yeah.
That's my refuel. He refuels me.
Mm.
You would be listen, I get on this good step to try to get these steps in before 9. And I put on that good Bible, because the Bible can talk to you now, honey. The
Oh
Bible
yeah.
reads to me, honey. I'm over here
Mm.
Leviticus 3:8. Okay, Leviticus. Look at me learning these words, honey. Words I ain't never said before.
Oh,
Leviticus.
I was
So
at a church.
yeah, I'm over here praying and meditating. Just I have to do that. He's so consistent in my life, so
Yeah.
consistent. So I'm not. I know that's kind of cliche, and people's like, oh, that's so. No, I'm telling you,
Hmm.
if they had not been for God on my side, what they
Mm.
say? Oh Lord, where would I be?
Yeah. You were talking about Leviticus. I went to visit a church one day and the pastor said Psalm and job. And I said, it's time for me to go. I said,
Yeah, because baby, yeah, when you saying that means you ain't even
I
went
said,
to you ain't been to K3 Bible school. Ain't
I
no
said,
need us sitting under this anointment
this
because it
your
ain't none.
first day. You ain't taking me down with you.
Yeah.
Um, so again, you guys are tuned to the Chris Huff Show, Spirit 105.1 FM, 1390 AM. We're here with Lovely Big O, our guest for the day. If somebody was in a dark place right now, what would you say to them to encourage them?
Uh, God never fails. My mom,
Mhm.
my mom has said that to me over and over, uh, basically all my life, but especially this year.
Yeah,
God never fails. He is everything that you're gonna need and so much more, and you're gonna have to trust the process.
right,
Trust the process and hold to God's unchanging hand. You're gonna have to have the unbelievable faith that He can and He will do exactly what He said.
right.
Get in your word, get on your knees, and believe that thing. And
Yeah.
the best thing that I've done for myself is moved in silence. Um, I know we get so excited about wanting to know letting everybody know everything, but sometimes God's got to really show you that He's God.
Yeah.
So
I told somebody last week, I said if God's not a liar, which he's not, then you gotta believe if he really told it to you, then it's gonna come to there's no
yeah,
timestamp on it. So I
yep,
was telling the story about how I've been trying to get in radio since 2011. I went back and there was some certain person, I don't want to call it the station or the person, but I knew them personally from a little kid. And I was like, hey, do you have any spots for radio hosts? I want to try this thing. And it was either ignore or note, or you can email this person. I'm like, I'm not emailing this person because I already know what the answer is going to be. I don't have any experience on radio. And I kept, and I gave up on it. And so, Martin Lawrence that came to Greenville back in February, and I
hmm
got to see him backstage, and he had said something. He's my favorite all-time comedian. Like I grew up in that era, and he
hmm
said, "Don't give up on your dreams." And he was talking about how his story and how it took him a while, and something in that just rejuvenated me when I heard my goat speak those words.
yeah,
It just sparked something in me, and so I been on like a rampage since then, and I was listening to the radio. I was trying to get to the Clemson sports station, and I was scrolling up on the radio, and I heard Marvin Sapp Radio, and I was like, "What station? This must be a Georgia station or something." But then I was like, "Oh, Spirit 105.1," and so I reached out on Facebook and met with Miss Jenny, the station owner, and she instantly gave me a shot. So I was like, "Man, when God will give it to you, He'll give it to you." It's been
He will.
12, 13 years I've been trying to do this, and he was like, maybe he was saving me from something, or either I
Yeah,
wasn't ready. But I'm not going to question God when I mean, that's what I told him. It's 2011 to 2025. It's been a long time, but the
right.
promise came. But the promise
But
came
God,
late.
but
Right.
God.
He's always got our best interest in mind, and he's not going to lie to us.
Mm-mm.
What are you working on right now? Like, what do you have coming up? I know you got some stuff coming up in August and some stuff in May.
Yeah, it's May 31st. I'll
Mhm.
be in Anderson at the Anderson Civic Center, for the Christians that like boots and wants to pop their fan. Y'all come on out there. King George is gonna be there with Uncle Daddy, Antonio and Marnie. I'll be hosting that event. June 28th, the Sparkle City. Funk Fest, and that's with the old schoolers. I know
Mhm.
Christians that like old school music, so it's gonna be
Right.
Midnight Star, Cameo,
Mm.
Club Nouveau, Lakeside. That's gonna be in Spartanburg at the Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium. I'll also be in Costa Rica. Doing a comedy show there. They booked me to come over with the Takeover Travel Group. So I'll be
Mm.
in Costa Rica June 18th through the 22nd. August 24th is the QL's Gospel
Mm.
second annual gospel experience. He's gonna have Zacardi Cortez out there, Latasha Page Lockhart. I mean, he got some heavy name hitters that are coming
Yeah.
at the Love Story Church. So make sure you guys look out for that. Those tickets are on Eventbrite, and it's just a lot of things just flowing, coming this way, and I'm just believing God for prosperity and manifestation on my life right now, and I'm just believing that He's really going to do His thing. He said He was a long time ago, and I'm believing and have faith that
Oh
He is.
yeah, I'm a living example.
Yeah,
Oh need to give me like 5, 10 minutes one of her events. Let me open up for you one day. I got a good
right,
10 minutes
right.
left in me.
Need to do
Oh,
something. Got some anniversary dates coming up,
okay.
and I'm being asked about doing a one woman's comedy show. And I've got some things that I've got to put it in motion yet. But you know how it is, trying to plan an event
Yeah.
and live at the same time. My God, today it's not enough hours.
Yes. So real quickly, I'm gonna give you a fire round real fast, and I got one last question for you after that. So, what's your church pet peeve? Something that happens in church that you wish wouldn't happen, if anything.
Oh, long prayers. It don't take all day. You ain't got to pray long. Don't study. You ain't got to study and show yourself approved with this prayer. Cause baby, don't do that. You get to pray that long.
Right.
Mm-mm.
People found out like I was a kids pastor, youth pastor. Every time I go to an event, would you like to pray for us? Pray every dog. You gotta call me up here. Don't do that. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Funniest thing you've witnessed in church.
My pastor taking off his shirt and showing a Superman t-shirt underneath. But did you just Superman on them? Did you you want them? Did you want them? You
Oh,
did you bust out? That's what the
wait,
funniest thing I've ever seen. You,
Pastor, wait a
my
minute, hold
pastor,
on.
my pastor did that. You can't tell me nothing about my pastor. My
Does,
pastor, yeah,
does he say for Psalms or jobs? I wonder if that was the same one.
no, oh no, he don't say that, but he took his baby. You did you? Okay,
Oh,
that's on your chest.
oh my goodness. Dream guest to have on your show.
A dream guest to have on my show. That right there, I guess. I don't know. That's a package being delivered, honey.
At least it wasn't the
Um,
fire extinguisher beep. The
let's
smoke
see.
alarm.
A dream guest. I don't. You know, that's a hard one because I don't know it
Yeah.
because it's. I don't know. It's just I don't know. I think I would want to interview Eve.
Hmm.
I got some questions because I think she the reason why I tell people all the time, even on stage, she the reason why I'm a fat girl because she wanted to be disobedient and put him out there with that fruit. But if she had been in the kitchen, if she had been out there with these arms in that kitchen stirring up a gift, I
Listen.
probably wouldn't be living like I'm living. So I think for a special guest, Eve, I need to talk to you. I want to know why you gave up the ghost for a piece of
Mhm.
apple or orange because that ain't the Bible. That's not scripture.
I feel like Eve got to be in solitary confinement in heaven because I know when people get to heaven, she's the first person they be looking.
Yeah, we looking for Eve. I is looking for you.
Um, I gotta ask all my comedians this. The last thing I'll let you go after this. I gotta ask all the comedians this. Who's your top five? Now I want to clarify because me and Akintunde had this conversation. We didn't say most holy, most sanctified comedians because he listed Bill Cosby. And I was like, yeah, I like Bill too. He said, now, would I take a drink from Bill? Probably not. But
Mm,
top five comedians for any reason.
I'm gonna say Red Fox.
Mhm.
Um, I love Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Um, Martin Lawrence.
Hmm.
Um, Cat Williams
Mm.
and Steve Harvey.
Okay. It's a good list.
Mm-hmm.
I love me some Red Fox. Like I'll go back and
Oh
watch.
yeah,
I feel like I was born in the wrong time. I watch Sanford and Son, Good Times, Jefferson
yeah.
all day long.
And realistically, Richard Pryor is
Yeah,
I love them, and the
I,
reason why I like them is because they are so real and they
right.
were so real and so raw.
Yeah,
Um, but if I could, yeah, those would be my top five because I'm real old school. I like to go back and look at Red Fox, and I like to watch,
mhm,
Eddie Murphy. Yeah,
right.
I love Martin Lawrence too. I
Yeah,
mean, it's really I don't even know. That's kind of hard because even sitting here thinking about it, I mean, I like Sinbad.
it could
I've
be like a
enjoyed.
hundred. You could put 100 on that list.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just don't. I don't even know if they're my top five. I want to do over next time. That ain't my top five. You need to do like top 10 or something like that.
Oh,
Top
good.
seven. Do top seven.
You can give me some more.
Yeah, I did. I just gave
Yeah.
Sinbad, stuff
Yep.
like I like him. I love Opportune Nikita B
Hmm.
is a beast.
Yeah.
So small fire or small fry, whatever. I can't remember what she called herself now. Small fire or small fry. What she call herself?
I can't remember.
And okay, and chocolate. I like her. And I know people always used to tell me I sound like Monique. I was like, no, baby, I don't sound like Monique. Monique sound
Mhm.
like Monique. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like old school comedy though. I do.
Yeah.
It's something about being on stage with a microphone and a mic stand and a stool
Hmm.
that just
Yeah.
gets me where I need to be. I'm real
It's
old school.
what Martin Lawrence says. I think he said like it's you against everybody, and
It's true.
and I remember watching Run Tell That, sneaking to watch it when I was little. My mama wasn't playing that, but yeah,
Well,
let
we
me.
was raised in a liquor house. My mama didn't kill. She was like, "Go on out my face and serve this
I got a
chicken and
mama.
fish. Go on
I
out
got
there
a
and deliver that chicken and fish." Yeah.
I got a mama that Halloween night, you better cut them lights off and hide on the bed because we ain't letting nobody, we ain't passing out no candy, we ain't getting no candy. She was sanctified.
Oh no, yeah, that's good. My mama got sanctified when she moved 2 streets over in the Berea, and then she knew the Lord. But other than that, baby, we did we hood. We know all
Yeah.
about it. We made our costumes out of the bed sheets. You put 2 holes in it, and we was ghosts.
Listen,
Okay, we already knew what our costumes
I
were.
went to school. I'll never forget. I got made fun of so bad in elementary school. I had a towel with a clothespin and I was Darkwing Duck. My mama told me, them kids told me up.
But you made it through. You made it
But
through.
so you had to learn how to. I think that's when I first wanted to do comedy. You got to learn how to get people off of you so you
You
can make
do.
them laugh back. So I was like,
You
y'all
do.
gonna get me. I'm gonna figure it out. I ain't gonna sit here and cry.
Uh,
Um,
uh.
but yeah, Lovely Big O, I appreciate you joining me today, you guys. You can hear Lovely Big O on the Jamal Bates Morning Show here on Spirit 105.1 FM. You can tune in 96.3 The Block at Odyssey Station, catch her from 10 to 3. I'm sure she's on the Quiet Storm somewhere. She ain't just gave us the information yet, so you can catch
Baby, not yet. But
you
if you
catch
call,
her.
if you're looking for me, baby, I'll get on there and say, "Hi, it's your girl, Lovely Big O. What can I do for you tonight?"
She gonna be 24/7 on the radio.
I receive it. I receive it.
Yes. I appreciate it, Lovely Big O. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.